Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Sports. I have with me in the room, as always, Uncle James Bashir in the house. Uncle, how are we doing?
Everything is good. Everything is good.
Fantastic, Uncle. Let's get straight into this one. How have you been over the last week? Anything new from your side in terms of new fighters or trainers or training or anything like that?
No.
Nothing?
Just doing my job as a boxing trainer.
Okay, so I guess you must have heard the terrifying news coming out of Alexander Usyk's camp that he's looked devastating. Sparring partners are going home. He's been telling one of his sparring partners, bring it to him. He wants war, and he's been having war in the gyms. How much of that is to be believed? And how much of that do you think is mind games from his camp?
Well, knowing Usyk, knowing the kind of guy that Usyk is, he's probably true. He's that kind of guy. He's that kind of guy that, he does get into encounters in the sparring sessions. I don't know, maybe to prove something to himself. My thinking is he'll do it for himself. That's just the kind of human being he is.
So I understand that he left the press conference in a foul mood. And by leaving in a foul mood, he came straight into training, sparring. And he was saying to his sparring partner, come on, let's have it.
Yeah, I can believe that. I can believe that.
In your time working with Alexander Usyk, you must have come across times where he's been in not the best of moods. Does he train better when he's in a foul mood, or is he reckless when he's in a foul mood?
Usyk is a calculated, very steady human being. No ebb and flow. He's just steady. He believes in himself, and he invests himself, and he's gonna create a problem. Whether Anthony wins the fight or not, Usyk is gonna create problems. Anthony's gonna have to step to him and say, "Listen here, I'm the boss." And if Anthony does not, or he is not capable of doing that, then he's gonna have major problems.
In terms of the sparring partners, do you know any of the sparring partners? He's brought in Martin Bakole as a big sparring partner for Usyk.
He has another big, tall, strong guy who's giving him good work. Alexander, he's another Ukrainian guy. He's a big, tall guy, strong, capable,
durable,
capable, and gives good work. I've seen him work with Usyk before.
When you look at,
I think it's Sikorsky, Alexander Sikorsky, if I'm pronouncing his name right.
Okay, so if you look at Sikorsky and then what Joshua brings to the table.
On the internet, him and Usyk is on the internet today together.
Yes.
You saw that guy. He gives Usyk very good work.
So in terms of sparring partners, like that gentleman you're talking about, that Alexander you're talking about there, if you compare the style of Anthony Joshua with him, what sort of quality sparring is he getting there?
Despite the fact Alexander does not have as much experience as Anthony Joshua, I've seen Alexander and Usyk work before, and believe me, he gives it to Usyk. He gives Usyk a lot of problems.
Okay.
He's strong. He's strong, willing. He's capable, and he gives Usyk lots of problems. So he's a very capable sparring partner.
Let me ask you a question. If you were in the Usyk camp preparing for the second fight of Anthony Joshua, would this guy be one of the guys you'd be bringing into sparring for Usyk?
Pardon me?
If you were in Usyk's camp and you were setting that camp up in terms of sparring partners, would this guy be one of the guys you'd be shortlisted to get into camp with you?
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Okay.
He would be one of my top guys. Yeah, definitely. Because he has that physical stature, and in my mind, he's a bit more aggressive than Anthony is.
Okay.
When him and Usyk work, they don't play. They go to work.
Okay. So who else would you bring into camp? What are your thoughts on Martin Bakole sparring with Usyk? Usyk's brought him back again for a second camp. Do you read anything into that?
I think that he's got Bakole here not because of the style, but because of the strength and the aggression.
Okay.
I mean, Usyk is, in my mind, he's preparing for a battle of attrition, a battle of wills against Anthony Joshua. I don't know whether it's a good idea or bad idea, depending on what Anthony is working on. But
it's no secret Anthony Joshua's not going to try and box Usyk this time round. We know he's going to put pressure on Usyk, but Usyk takes that away if Usyk takes the fight to Joshua and puts him onto the back foot. He nullifies that straight away.
Like I said, I don't think that this fight will go past 7 rounds. Either way, somebody's going to get KO'd in this fight. I think that Usyk is digging in and preparing for a battle. I don't know how it's going to play out inside the ring, but I think that he's preparing for a battle based on those 2 sparring partners that I know about, Bakole and Sikorsky. I think that he's preparing for a battle. That he knows that Anthony's going to bring the fire to him, and preparing for to meet the fire.
Who else would you bring into camp for this? Who else would you bring in to spar with Usyk for this rematch, in your mind?
I mean, Anthony Joshua is not a complicated guy to emulate. If you're rangy, if you can box, and you can stand in, I think that just about any of the big guys could emulate Anthony Joshua. Those guys, but off the top of my head, I can't say who, what, because in the training camps that I did with Shannon Briggs, Jamil McCline, Maurice Harris, I had an array of sparring partners. I didn't bring in one style. I bring in different styles, and sometimes I bring in guys that didn't even box in the same stance. In an effort to prepare my guy for anything. I like to prepare my guys to box as lefties, as righties. You understand? In the event that one hand gets broken, they'll know how to switch and use the other hand. So I try to prepare them for anything. In the Latimer Klitschko camp and in Lennox Lewis camp, they had a diversity of sparring partners. Fast guys, slow guys, in and out guys that feinted a lot, So you try to prepare for anything that's going on in the ring. That's why I'm against a specific kind of pad work and stuff like that there, because you can't prepare for what's going to go on in that ring because you don't know. So I think that if you got a big guy that can move, that can box, then he can come in and emulate an Anthony Joshua. You can emulate, but you gotta Anthony Joshua is not no spring chicken. He's not no walk in the park. You got to have some kahunas to get in there and emulate Anthony Joshua.
Okay. People are still going on about Usyk being at war and his mind might not be on the job. He might not be the same fighter. Do we look at that?
I keep telling these people, listen to me closely. It's not going to affect Alexander Usyk. He's not that kind of guy. Listen closely to me now. He's not that kind of guy. When he puts his mind on the task at hand, he's going to do it. He's not going to be distracted. He already knows what he's going to do, how he's going to fight. He already knows. He understands there's a war going on, but he's that kind of guy that can put that on the back burner and go in and do his job. He's a unique human being.
Is he capable of switching up and instead of being on the back foot, actually go onto the front foot and attack Anthony in this rematch? Is he capable of doing that, or is that away from his go-to game plan, which is to box and move and counter?
I don't know. You know, nobody knows. But, I think that his will is intact. He's going to try to outwill Anthony. And Anthony has likewise tried to outwill Usyk. Battle of attrition, battle of wills. That's what this is going to boil down to. It's sort of like the Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali first fight. Ali commanded the ring with his boxing and his ring prowess. But after a while, the grinding and mauling and brawling and coming and winging and throwing left hooks and this and that. After a while, it took away from the game plan of Muhammad Ali and said, and Ali came in the corner in the 7th, 8th round. He said, you know what? I got to fight. I've got to fight now. I'm tired. I can't move no more like this. I got to sit down and I got to fight. If you look at that fight after the 7th round, you'll see the fight, it turned into a fight. It was no longer a boxing match. It turned into a balls, heart and balls fight.
Heart and balls. Good way to lead into the next thing. Has Joshua? I think Teddy Atlas alluded to the fact that maybe Joshua's made too much money and he's in a position now where he hasn't got the same hunger to be 3-time heavyweight champion of the world. Do you believe that?
I think that Anthony Joshua has the desire to become the 3-time heavyweight. Anthony Joshua is quite aware of who he is and where he is and where he's at and what he has to do. He's quite aware of that. He's got that money locked in a bank. He understands that. But now it's about legacy. And Anthony Joshua wants to be that guy who creates legacy. So he's going to fight his ass off. He's going to fight his ass off. This is going to be a good fight. This might be one for the books because you got two guys who are intent on doing damage in that ring. We're going out trying to make an impression on all that are watching. You know, I just want to sit back and I want to watch it in peace, but it's going to be a good fight.
In terms of quality of sparring partners, will Usyk spend the money to bring in this quality sparring partners? And then can the same be said for Anthony Joshua coming into this fight?
Sure he will. Sure he will. And I believe that Anthony Joshua would do likewise. In fact, when I left the training camp with him, before leaving, I told him, I said, listen, you've got to spend money to bring in the best sparring partners that money can buy. These are my words to Anthony Joshua. And you've got to take care of those sparring partners. Make sure that those sparring partners don't want for nothing, because there's nothing worse than a disgruntled employee. So you got to take care of them. I said, take care of the team around you and take care of the sparring partners that you bring in. Share some of the wealth with them. You understand? You're not doing this by yourself. You're doing it with a team. So I instructed him, take care of your team. Take care of the people around you and take care of the fighters that you bring in to help you. Because those guys are taking beatings every day to prepare you to make legacy. So share some of the wealth with us. It's not going to hurt you.
There's a lack of southpaws in the heavyweight division. So how do you compensate or get around that? particularly one like, I mean, Johnny Nelson said
One way,
that. Oh, go ahead.
one way to defeat that purpose. When you get close to a southpaw, then it's neutral.
As you said.
Neutralizing. Southpaw stances only makes a difference when you're far apart. But once you come to the southpaw, once you close to him, you negate the stance. All right, you negate the stance. So that's not going to be a difficult situation to get over with. In fact, Anthony Joshua's camp reached out to me for me to bring Vlad SIRENKO into his camp, but Vlad SIRENKO can't leave a situation. He's got a hearing, you know, at the embassy, so he can't leave where he's at. But they did reach out to me, and that was a smart move to bring in Vlad SIRENKO. His stances, people get caught up in stances too much in orthodox and southpaw, but that's not the fight.
Okay.
This is going to boil down to a fight.
Okay.
And when it does boil down to a fight, it's not going to make too much of a difference whether it's southpaw or orthodox. It's going to boil down to a fight. These guys are going to go out there and they're going to lay it on the line. Anthony Joshua, as well as Oleksandr Usyk, they're going to lay it on the line. I believe that. From what I know about Oleksandr Usyk, you know, like I said, I spent those years with him, the 3 years, but we were very close. We talked a lot. We had a lot of private time together. And the times I was with Anthony Joshua, we communicated a lot. He let me know what his stance was, too. And he's aware of what he must do to achieve greatness. He's aware of that. And he has a desire to do that inside that ring.
Okay. Johnny Nelson made an interesting comment. He said that Alexander Usyk is just an average southpaw. What are your thoughts on that?
No, Johnny. Johnny's wrong. You call Johnny and tell him he's wrong. He's not no average southpaw. He's a magician southpaw. Now you see him and now you don't. Now he's 6'4" and then he's 6'2". Then a little bit of razzmatazz and he's over there and he's over there and then he's in back of you. No, Oleksandr Usyk is anything but an average southpaw.
Okay, but let's see what Johnny Nelson said. So he thinks that it's it's an average fight, the average southpaw, nothing special. Joshua's made him look special.
No, not Joshua. Everybody else made him look. Huh? All other guys he beat for become the undisputed cruiserweight champion.
Made him look special as well.
Made him look special as well. I worked with him for 3 years, and I'm trying to tell anybody that listens to it, the guy is special. He's a special boxer. He's a special mind.
Okay. I know you mentioned before.
Love or hate him, the guy is special.
Okay. I know you said that before you thought that we haven't seen the best of Alexander Usyk, and it's still to come. And you've also said that maybe in that fight against Joshua, we still didn't see the best of him.
No, we
what?
Didn't. That's the guy. That's the guy that was holding back. They didn't let him go fully in that fight.
Do you think it's because they knew
he's capable of doing much more?
Do you think it's because they knew that a rematch was coming?
No, I think that they was just being careful. They just wanted to get their hands on the belt. So they just said, easy as you go. This is a big guy, and any one of those punches that Anthony Joshua is firing off could get you out of there. He can get you out of there. He has that kind of power. Joshua has that kind of power. If he delivers and he lands them punches, I don't care where he lands them. You understand?
Okay.
Where he lands them, he can get you out of there.
So Joshua's punching power we know about, and you know, nobody would say it's overrated. But what about his stamina and his durability in a war, a fast, high-paced fight in Saudi Arabia? How does that bode for Joshua and
Well,
Usyk?
if he's down there in time now, he can make the adjustment. I would. The game is to be sold and not sold. But
So
I was the trainer for Joshua. I would have had him in a situation where he was getting exhausted every single day. I would mash down on the gas. I would have him exerting himself during the sparring. You know what I'm saying? I would have him sparring up to 15 rounds. I would have him sparring up to 15 rounds. Some days I'd have him do 10. Other days I'd have him do 15. Then I'd bring him back and do 12. But in that neighborhood for the first 2 weeks at least of sparring. Maybe the third week I might do it one time.
opening up the lungs more, so for more oxygen to get in. Correct.
Not just the lungs, it's the mentality.
Mm-hmm.
When a fighter gets nervous,
Yes.
when a fighter is hit with a good chest shot, a chin shot, a temple shot, it automatically alarms the sensors. It's like a bunch of little men running around in your mind and in your heart saying, battle stations, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. And that panic state can cause the valuable usage of energy.
Okay.
You know, if you can't harness the chemistry, if you can't harness it, slow it down, grab control and say, okay, all right, we're in trouble. Let's calm down and get back to boxing. If you let that energy get away from you, you'll lose the fight because you'll be burned out. I had a young man in the gym a couple of days ago, and he was trying to hurry through the workout. I don't know where he's going. He's trying to get out of there. I walked up to him and said, listen, calm down so you don't burn yourself out. Because once that energy is gone, it's not coming back. All right? So you got to dispense the energy wisely, correctly. And that's a fact. You have to do that. Otherwise, once you get nervous like that there and that energy is gone, it's gone for the fight. It's not coming back.
Let's talk about second wind. We always hear about second wind in boxing. That, you know, the second. How does that kind of work?
It happens from being calm. Believing in yourself in that ring. That's how the second win is going to come. It's the chemistry. It's the physical, the mental chemistry combined together, working together. One reassuring the other. I got this.
Okay.
I got that. You know, once you get exhausted like that, it's very hard to get that second win.
I'll ask you another thing here. Now, we know Robert Garcia is the new trainer, and him and Joshua have been working well together. But on fight night, if Joshua were to have a panic attack, how does a new trainer respond to that if he's never been there before with that fighter on fight night or in the corner or in the changing rooms?
Nobody can harness what happens in that state but Anthony Joshua. I don't care who the trainer is. It could be me. It could be Joe Blow or Clarence McGillicuddy. It doesn't matter. Only one person can rescue Anthony Joshua in that position, or Oleksandr Usyk in that position. The only one that can rescue them is themselves. That's why they're walking with the lion's share of the money. Because they're the one that's up on that tightrope. They're the one that's up on that tightrope.
Mm-hmm. How does this fight differ from Joshua's rematch against Andy Ruiz? Because a lot of people are using that as an example.
Andy Ruiz is no comparison to Alexander Usyk. in my mind. And that's not disparaging towards Andy Ruiz, because Andy Ruiz in his own right is a very good boxer, very quick boxer. I thought that Andy Ruiz won down in Australia, New Zealand.
I did too.
And a very good boxer in his own right.
So people are saying, well, all Josh has to do is do what he did against Andy Ruiz, and the fight is his.
I wouldn't invest in that. If he tries that there same thing with Oleksandr Usyk, he's going to get outpointed by Usyk. I don't think that's going to work.
No.
No, I don't think that's going to work. If he tries that with Usyk, I think Usyk will outpoint him.
Okay, fair enough.
I think Joshua is going to have to get behind a consistent jab and believe in the jab. Not no pouring and pity patting with it. He got to get behind that jab, and he's got to believe in the jab.
Okay.
At the same time, he's got to watch for the left hand coming from Usyk. If he can put that left hand in mothballs, he wins the fight. All right? Got to put the left hand in mothballs. The three things he has to work. People say the right lead is the fight, is how you conquer the Southpaw. But my thinking was, and always has been, is the left hook to the body. The left hook to the body is what opens the Southpaw up. Not the right hand, because every Southpaw and their mother knows that the right hand is going to come frequently. That's why they always adapt to slipping it and blocking it and getting away from it, because they know it's coming. But they can't do anything about the left hook to the body. They can't do nothing about it. If they're using the jab, they're vulnerable to the left hook. So the left hook is key. The left jab is key. Then the right hand. And when I say right hand, don't be selective with the right hand. Land the right hand anywhere.
Okay, and flip and reverse for Alexander Usyk.
Oleksandr Usyk has to be aggressive in this fight. He's not going to be able to run around the ring and hide from Anthony. He's got to assert himself against the bigger, stronger guy. He's got to assert himself.
Okay.
I know it's easier said than done, but he's got to find a way to do it.
What have you made of Anthony Joshua saying he wants Derek Chisora in his corner on the night of the fight?
Who?
Derek Chisora.
Who said that? Who said what? What said this again?
Anthony Joshua wants Derek Chisora in his corner on the night of the fight.
He said he wants Derek Chisora in the corner on the night of his fight.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good idea. I just don't. I just think too many cooks spoils the soup. I'm just old fashioned like that. I think that too many voices won't help him. It only helped to confuse him. You know, I think that there should be one person. I was working with Emmanuel with a fighter somewhere, and Emmanuel said to me in the corner, he said, "Listen, don't talk, let me talk." He said, "If you want to help the fighter, then tell me what you need to tell him, and I'll tell him." He said, because when it's coming from different angles, he said, then the guy's trying to serve both of us, and then he's going to run into a brick wall like that. And I agree with him. I said, yeah, all right. I was getting a little emotional. and he was right. So I told him what I wanted him to tell the fighter. He did, and we got the win. You know, but he was right. He was right. Only one person should be talking. So I don't know if Derek makes him feel good.
He fought Usyk already. That's why.
Huh?
He fought Usyk already. That's why.
Yeah, but Derek lost to Usyk miserably. The people say it was a close fight, but after the 6th, 7th round, Derek was just walking in sand traps. He was just on the receiving end after that did. He was just exhausted. He couldn't do nothing. He was ineffective.
With the size of Anthony Joshua, they said he's lost weight, but with the size of Anthony Joshua, lactic acid in the muscles, moving around the ring in Saudi Arabia, can you defy science almost, because his body's been set a certain way with muscle memory for so many years, that now in a hot country and a hot climate like Saudi Arabia, no matter how much he's been training, that muscle memory is still there? Or can you retrain that muscle memory?
I think that's just going to boil down to a good old-fashioned fight. Muscle memory and all. I think it's going to boil to a barnyard fight, because Usyk got his made up that he's not going to let Anthony push him around. He's preparing mentally, physically. He's preparing for that.
Yes, but if Anthony has to fight a high-paced fight, how many high-paced fights can Anthony Joshua fight at? I mean, can he maintain a high-paced fight being pushed onto the back foot?
Heavily on his preparation.
But you can prepare all you want, but if you're nervous...
It boils down to his preparation.
Okay.
How is his preparation doing, building him up for the fight?
Okay.
That's what it's going to boil down to.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about in that particular subject, Usyk versus Joshua, to any news?
I'm just really high on this fight.
Same here.
I appreciate that Anthony Joshua was going to bring in VLAD SIRENKO. Vlad's my man, you know, he's my man. And I'm appreciative that they wanted to bring us in, you know.
Yeah.
But as fate would have it, no, we can't come, because I'm waiting for Vlad to work on his visa in the position that he's in, you know.
Okay. If Joshua is to lose this fight to Usyk, what happens?
He's a young man. If he wants to continue, he can continue. But he's got to be enthusiastic about it. He has to have enthusiasm. It's not a death sentence. It's not a good look, but it's not a death sentence. It depends. And then it depends on how he loses.
Okay. What happened there? Oh, there you go, Uncle. Uncle's back. Go ahead. Sound? Yeah, it's sound. You're going to have to call back. You're on mute. You're on mute. Can't hear you. You're on mute. Mute. Yep. So we're just waiting for Uncle Bashir to get back. So let's just let's put some music on and wait until Uncle Bashir gets back. Give us a moment. Oh, Uncle Bashir is back, I believe.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the show. Uncle, go ahead.
Where was I?
I can't remember what you're saying when we talked about Joshua. It talked about the fight, it being a fight.
You know, if he loses the fight, it's not a death sentence, you know. Let's go. He's just back to the drawing board, and he's got to collect himself and come back.
Okay.
He's still a young man. If he desires to move on, he can move on.
Or what about Robert Garcia?
It remains to be seen how this thing pans out. If Garcia makes the right move. Again, this is Garcia's first time training a heavyweight, and training a heavyweight is far different from training a lightweight or welterweight. Its application, the whole setup is different. It dispense of energy and everything. Everything is so different, you know. But it remains to be seen how he's going to make the adjustment to Anthony, and how Anthony is going to make the adjustment to him.
There were some things I noticed in the press conference that I mentioned to you, may have mentioned to you before. Anthony, one side of Anthony said, I heard a story. He said that Alexander Usyk, he said Alexander Usyk bust my ass in the press conference, and then he's come out. He said that he was boxing Alexander Usyk and he thought he looked like Muhammad Ali.
Well, I don't feed into that much. You know, it's just somebody talking.
Yeah, but it's somebody talking who actually believes he was winning the fight.
He said he believed that he was winning the fight. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was just saying that.
But he said he thought he looked like Muhammad Ali in there.
Well, he didn't. Well, he did not, you know.
Well, is that not a false sense of security? You know, when you're boxing, you know if you're ahead. Well, most times you can feel when you're ahead of a fight or a fight is getting away from you. If a guy's landing more shots on you than you're landing on him, or he's landing more key punches on you than you're landing on him, you know if you're winning or losing a fight. And he was getting clipped with big shots. I don't understand how he thought he was winning the fight.
Fighters see things differently when they're in there. They don't realize until after they watch the video that maybe I wasn't doing as well as I thought I was. I mean, Adrian Broner thought he beat Pacquiao. All right?
He was saying that to cover his face. That's all. The shame. That was all that was.
All right.
You know that. I know that. He's covering his for shame. But the fact that he turned and said the words Muhammad Ali and himself against Usyk, that for me is like, it's almost fantasy world. She thought it was Muhammad Ali in there. I mean to put your brain into that sort of mindset, you thought you were Muhammad Ali in there boxing. You look like Muhammad Ali in there boxing against Usyk. But it's a mindset, and it's a mindset that unless he's adjusted, he'll go back in there. I remember this with Cecilia Braekhus when she fought Jessica McCaskill. And I said, Cecilia was convinced that she'd won the fight. And I said, if Cecilia goes into the fight in a rematch with that same mentality, believing that she was robbed by Jessica McCaskill, she'll lose the second fight. And McCaskill are outworking simply because McCaskill won the fight and McCaskill's going to work harder, whereas Cecilia just feels she just has to show up again and do the same things. She won't push as hard. And this is what happened in the end. So the mindset, Uncle, we go back to it.
I think that Anthony has had time to be alone in his own mind, his own setting, and realize that he didn't win the fight. He didn't win the fight. All right. And the people and the fans could see the fight slipping away as the rounds progressed. I think in this next fight, he won't go in with that same kind of mentality. I think that he'll go in and try to establish himself in the early rounds. I think whoever controls those early rounds, those first 3-4 rounds, is going to win the fight.
Fight. Yeah, but if he sits down and somebody's telling him, "Is there? Oh, you only lost about a couple of rounds. You only lost about 3 rounds," and he's listening to that stuff instead of you've got your ass whooped, good and proper, right? You'll train that way as well, and that's the effort you put into training. Because if you're thinking that you only lost a fight by a couple of rounds, by a few rounds, that's the way you're going to train.
You know, it's very strange. Fighters are very, very strange, especially during the time that they're in there when they're fighting, because they're acting in remote.
Yeah, like a robot almost.
sitting back watching your television with the remote.
Yeah.
So the application of words, how the words are arranged, what you give to the fighter in the corner makes so much of a difference how he's going to fight that next round. But one thing is very, very important is to be able to calm the fighter in the corner. That's why all the screaming and hollering and blah, 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 too many people talking and stuff is only going to excite the fighter. That's why it's better to have one person in charge of the communication in the corner.
Right.
The first thing I'm going to ask SIRENKO when he comes in the corner, Shannon Briggs when he comes to the corner. Shannon was cut badly one night, and I think he got cut in the first round, and he started hyperventilating in the corner. I said, whoa, whoa, calm down. It's a 12-round fight. We're going to get him. Just calm down. Let the cut man do his work, and you go back out there and just box. This is only a little nick on your eye anyway. It was a bad cut. But the whole thing was how I gave it to him. Don't worry about it. It's just a little nick. It was a bad cut. But the cut man had the cut under control. The key thing is not to let the fighter hyperventilate. He went out and he got the knockout 5, 6 rounds later. But we got the knockout nonetheless because I was able to communicate with him and keep him calm. Not getting frantic in the corner, not screaming, hollering, and yelling 1,000 different directions. Told him the things that was necessary, that was related to the fight itself.
Okay.
And I gave him a little portion. Go out and do this. All the other stuff he's been trained in the training camp on how to do.
Okay.
You don't have to come back and say, throw the hook and then come back with the uppercut. And then when you step back, throw your double jab. You don't have to do all of that there because you've been trained.
To do that.
3, 4 weeks in a lifetime. You've been trained. He knows when to throw the uppercut. He knows when to throw the right hand. He knows when to counter punch. You've got to get back to the specifics that's related to that particular round or that next round on what you need him to do and keep him calm.
Okay. Let's move on a little bit. Let's talk about Derek Chisora, actually. Talking about after his Pulev fight, Shelley Finkel has declined Derek's offer to fight Deontay Wilder. Your thoughts on this, very quickly?
It's not much. It's not much. It's not much of a mystery in that fight. Deontay knocks out Derek Chisora. No. I'm not saying that disparagingly.
No, of course. I get that.
And I'm saying the general consensus is that Deontay Wilder is going to knock out Derek Chisora.
Yes.
Derek Chisora's not going to even get close to Deontay.
That's what Stevie Wonder thinks too.
Deontay's going to hit him. He's going to hurt him. And then the next punch will knock him out. If not, if the first one punch will knock him out. So it's not a lot of enthusiastic fans saying we want that fight. So Shelley Finkel was doing the right thing, saying, no, we don't want the fight. Okay. The bigger fish to fry. The winner of Usyk, AJ. You know, I think that the trilogy with him and Tyson is over. I don't think we'll see that again.
Okay. Let's talk about Deontay Wilder versus Robert Helenius, rumored to be on October the 20th. Your thoughts?
Didn't him and Helenius fight before?
No, they were sparring partners. That's Duhaupas you're talking about.
Who was that? Somebody fought.
Duhaupas, the Frenchman.
Who was it?
Duhaupas.
That was giving him problems with the jab.
Duhaupas.
That swelled Deontay's eyes up.
Duhaupas. That's the fight I said for Helenius. Yeah, I did say that in my pre-fight.
Duhaupas. That was gave Deontay.
Good fight.
Deontay proved himself that night because he stayed calm. He got the job done, and he was with a good boxer in Duhaupas.
So how do you think Duhaupas does it? How do you think Helenius does against Wilder?
I think Helenius does a good job. I think he stands in.
That's what I've been saying. I think it's not a foregone conclusion.
Deontay is not coming back taking an easy touch.
Exactly.
It's not an easy touch in that fight. I think Deontay gets the job done. But he's not coming back against an easy touch. He's coming back with against a good guy. I've been around Robert Helenius, and he's a powerful guy that comes to fight.
I was saying that Helenius, if he can get Deontay onto the back foot using that double jab and get Deontay backing up, not obviously backing him up where he walks straight onto the right hand, but uses the jab educatedly and pushes Deontay back and puts a right hand on him, it could be interesting to see what happens if Helenius lands hard on Deontay.
It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. Deontay is going to be sharp. He's had time to rest. He's coming back with a vengeance. I see him knocking Helenius out in a good fight. Like I said, he's not taking a soft touch coming back.
Is it a shoot? It's a risky fight. That's what I've said. It's a risky fight.
But that's what the heavyweight division
needs
to bring back boxing, to put boxing back on the map. The heavyweight division needs that kind of fight. He doesn't need to come back and fight a guy like Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora, again, is a good fight, but in my mind, there's no mystery to Chisora versus Deontay because Deontay knocks him out.
Joe Joyce versus Wilder.
Another exciting fight. Another exciting fight, but it ends in a knockout. Deontay knocks him out. I mean, Joe Joyce, he walks into a brick wall. He gets hit by Deontay, and he's gone. So I got Deontay knocking him out. I think that Helenius is going to be a tougher fight than Joe Joyce would. I think Helenius would give Joe Joyce fits.
I think it's a damn good fight.
Yeah.
Joseph Parker, Deontay Wilder?
Deontay Wilder knocks Joseph Parker out.
Okay.
I don't see Joseph Parker doing nothing with Deontay Wilder.
Usyk versus Wilder. That's the fight everybody wants to see.
Yeah. Usyk versus Wilder. It's a toss-up. But I'd have to go with Usyk in that fight.
Why? Footwork.
Boxing skills. He's not going to let Deontay land that right hand. And Deontay depends a lot on the right hand, but Usyk is not going to let him land that right hand. Usyk is going to outbox Deontay. He's not going to get hit with that right hand.
If he does get hit with the right hand?
He got problems. Anybody got problems that Deontay lands that right hand clean and effectively on. Anybody got problems. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. If Deontay Wilder lands the right hand cleanly, solidly, anybody that he hits is going to have problems. And everybody.
Do you have any concerns about Wilder after the 3 fights with Fury, the stamina issues he had in that 3rd fight?
Nah.
You don't?
No, he's had time to rest. He's back. I don't think he's affected at all. I think he was just exhausted. I think Deontay Wilder is as good as he's ever been. I don't think he's affected at all.
Okay, we look forward to seeing that. Tyrone Sprong at Bridgerweight. Talk to me about that. On the undercard of Joshua versus Usyk too.
He's a powerful fighter. I haven't seen much of him, but he can fight. And he's powerful. He's got good punching power. He's got good boxing skills. I think he belongs right in there with the best of them.
Okay. Marius Breeders. I'm pissed because I think this guy should have been in the heavyweight division. He should never stay the cruiserweight. Personal opinion. You saw the fight. Your thoughts?
I got to watch the fight again. I'm still on. It was to me, it was ugly. The fight was ugly to me. A lot of mauling and wrestling and stuff like that. Yeah, I didn't really like that.
Okay.
But I didn't have the guy that won the fight running away with. And running away with the decision.
Okay. What do you think of my thoughts of Marius Breeders being at heavyweight? He should stay at cruiserweight for too long.
Yeah, he can move. He can move up to heavyweight. He could at least the Bridgerweight.
Yeah.
He would be a great fight for Tyrone Sprung.
Be a great fight for Oscar Rivas, who's the champion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rivas, yeah, he'd be a good fight for Rivas, yeah.
I want to ask you about the development of Ryan Garcia, the potential fight. He's fought 2 Southpaws in a row, and the potential fight at the end of the year, it looks like him fighting against Gervonta Davis. 2 Southpaws, they want Davis. Davis is saying the fight could happen. Your thoughts?
Well, in my mind, it takes too long to put the prima donnas together now. These guys have been out there for a couple of years, 3-4 years now, and they still haven't fought. I mean, come on, man. By the time these guys fight, they're past their primes, and you can't get the best out of the guys.
So if those two were to fight, what do you think?
I understand it's business, but come on, man. Come on.
Uh-oh. Call again. Uncle's on. He's back. You back, Uncle? You have to come out and come back in. Just give us a moment. Uncle Bashir will be back with us in a moment. If you want to leave your comments, do become a member. Hit the join button, hit the subscribe button, and become a member today. Uncle is back. Go ahead, Uncle.
What were we saying?
Breeders, Garcia versus Tank. Who would you think would win?
It takes too long to put these guys together. I mean, God. I mean, Triple G and the Charlos haven't fought. The Charlos versus the Cuban Southpaw. What's his name? Laura. They haven't fought. Then the other kid, the other Southpaw kid, Boo Boo. He hasn't.
Charlo. Yeah.
Oh my God, these guys have been out there for years and nobody has fought.
It's not good. I don't think the promoters help either.
It's not good for boxing. It's not good for boxing.
I think the promoters are the problem. When the promoter's got a bit of an ego problem, people don't want to do business with the promoter. So say, I'm not doing business with your promoter. Simple as that. And that causes a problem as well.
Nello hasn't fought none of these guys. None of the top guys that we want to see him fight, he hasn't fought them. Mm-hmm. You know, because it's just a mess. It's a mess. Ryan Garcia just knocked out this lady, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? I'm like, who cares? We want to get to the meat and potatoes, man. Let's go.
Well, this is the fight they're talking about in November, arguably. They're saying, well, yeah, 2 Southpaw fights, he's going to go in with Tank.
It's a good fight. That's what I want to see.
Who wins?
I really don't know. They say Tank knocks him out, but you know, I don't know.
Okay. Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, they say November that fight's going to happen as well.
They say. But we don't know.
Who's your money leaning towards now? If you were going to go for Spence or Crawford?
It's a tight, tough fight. But I'd have to go with Crawford.
Okay.
By the skin of the chin. But it's a tough fight.
Okay.
It's not a given for either guy.
Okay.
I have specific reasons that chose Crawford in that fight.
Okay. I'm sure closer to time we'll talk about it. One fight that has been signed, we know is going to happen, is Eubank versus Ben. Any further thoughts after our last show? Daring to be right.
I think that there's one guy fighting another guy that's in 2 different weight classes. You know, they're 2 different weight classes. I think that Ben is coming up and Eubank is coming down. I don't know how it's going to pan out. The night of the fight, that's what I'm worried about. If they have the same day weigh in, then maybe we can narrow it down to a better fight. But that 1 day weigh in is going to make a big difference.
Okay. At 32 years old, would you advise a fighter who's spent a lot of his career at middleweight and at super middleweight to try and get down to light middleweight?
He says he can make it, huh?
There's no fat on him.
I would like to see them weigh him just before he goes in the ring.
Jesus.
I would like them to have that a clause in the contract so that we can know how much he's going to weigh when he walks in that ring. After making 54 pounds, and then how much is he going to weigh when the bell rings? And how much will Ben weigh?
Ben is going to be healthy. Eubank won't be healthy.
It's just
now. Here's a final piece of news that will shock you. Now, remember Chris Bird, the former two-time heavyweight champion of the world?
Yeah.
My friend is a boxing promoter. Would you believe that Chris Bird is going to be boxing in Nigeria?
He's going to be boxing in Nigeria.
Yeah. I mean, of all the places in the world, my friend's going to be promoting his fight.
Wasn't he supposed to fight a couple months back?
I think so. But now he's fighting. I don't know what weight he's fighting at. Still going to find out, but I'd rather him not fight at middleweight.
Trying to fight at middleweight.
Yeah, I don't want to see that. I don't see middleweight. I don't see.
I don't want nobody that's 50 years old trying to fight. I don't want to see nobody at 50 years old trying to.
Hopkins fought at 50.
I don't care how much a guy thinks he can do it. You go to the park and run. You hit the heavy bag, speed bag, get a couple rounds of sparring. The body doesn't work the same way when you lay off and then come back and try to reignite that fire that you had. It doesn't work the same way. I remember some years ago training a featherweight guy, and some guy didn't show up for the sparring. So I get in the ring and we move around, first round, second round. So I start feeling like, hey, maybe I can still do this. Maybe I belong. And in the third round, he hit me in my head, and he hit me around my right elbow.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember walking back in that corner saying, man, I got to get my ass out of this ring now. Yeah, because this guy hurt me, and if I go back out there, he's going to knock me out.
Yeah.
And I got out. I said, hey, man, that's it. And I got out of there. And I never put those gloves back on again. I said, And my head and my right elbow hurt me for 7-8 days. I said, no, man, no. You know, you can't do certain things when you get older.
Yeah.
You just can't pull the trigger. So I don't want Chris Bird getting in there. I don't want him getting in there. I don't want to see that.
I understand. I totally understand. Totally respect that. And I just out of what's the nostalgic sort of thing to see the former heavyweight champion world in the ring. I mean, I would love to see even Vitaly Klitschko fight, but maybe as an exhibition. I'd love to see him still fight, just as an exhibition. But I wouldn't want to see any real serious. I heard Mayweather's going to come back and have a real fight as well.
Please.
Leave it where it is.
One final note: Hasim Rahman Jr. is going to be fighting Jake Paul. He's a real boxer. Any thoughts?
I'm not into Jake Paul or anybody that's fighting him. I'm not into that. I don't have no enthusiasm about it.
I understand totally.
I can care less either way, you know.
Is there anything else you'd like that comes to your mind before we end, Uncle, today?
No, I'm just waiting for
Joshua Usyk.
Joshua Usyk.
That's the one. That's what everyone's waiting for at the moment.
You know.
Oh, one more thing. Alonso Coley called Eddie Hearn, slave master.
Really?
Yeah. I think maybe because he wants, probably because Coley's got sour grapes, because he probably wants to get out of his contract early, and Coley's got one more fight to honor under Matchroom. He probably wants to jump to Sky. Matchroom haven't got no big cards. Everything's on DAZN now. Nobody gives a damn about DAZN, so he probably wants to be on Sky Sports. So he won't get released from his contract. So I guess Coley's not calling him a slave master. So I'm sure Eddie will mismatch him, put him in a fight that he can't possibly win.
Adrian Broner is doing with Al Heyman in there.
Yeah, he's fighting. What's his name?
But Broner is said
Figueroa.
But
Figueroa.
But you see what Broner is saying about Al Heyman, right?
Well, is he calling him a slave master as well?
I sent it to you on Messenger.
I'll have to look at that. I'll have to look at it.
Yeah, you know, he's saying Al Heyman, they don't give a damn about me, and so I don't give a damn about them.
Yeah, well, he probably hasn't done himself any favors, Adrian Broner. So I mean, if you're paying a man to fight and he ain't fighting, what do you expect?
He did what?
Yeah, you pay a man to fight and the man's not fighting. I mean, let's be honest.
Man, you know, it's just, I love boxing. I just don't like the antics that go on in boxing.
Nonsense. Yeah, I don't know. I've lost all respect for Adrian Broner, to be honest.
He putting these guys in fights against subpar opponents. I want the fighters to fight the fighters, the guns to fight the guns.
So Keith Devon's going to be fighting Joran Ennis. So
80s, they was always crisscrossing the globe. These guys was always fighting each other. But now we are in the 2000s and
money, unbeaten records.
We're in the Mayweather era. That's what we're in. That's what it is, the Mayweather era.
Oh, it's so dull. It's dull.
A side, B sides, unbeaten records.
All right.
Uncle, thank you so much. Do you have a message for everybody out there before you go?
Eat organic grapes.
Uncle, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a good day, brother.
I will do. You take care, Uncle.